Hello, and welcome to this basic navigation training for Mystery Science. This particular navigation training is about how to use mini lessons from the Mystery Science platform. Another video will be created to support how to access lessons, which are specific to your grade level. All right, so let's jump in. My name is Amy Chase. I usually look like this, and I support elementary science for the district. So I'm your go-to person for all things science. Let's start by looking at how do you even get into mystery science? So you'll start by going to ClassLink, which is also my.aps.edu. And if you're following along, this would be a good time to log in to my.aps.edu and you scroll down to the science folder. Once there, if you're brand new to Mystery Science, you'll go to this white button with the purple lettering, and it will prompt you to, hopefully your email is already there, just as mine is. And again, if you want to take a moment to write down my email, you're welcome to do that. Please reach out whenever you need. And then there's a drop-down menu where you'll select the school in which you work. If you work at multiple sites, just pick one. It's okay. As long as you are connected to at least one of your sites, that is fantastic because it helps us kind of keep track of where folks are using the program. Then it will launch you right into the Mystery Science platform. If you choose to go back into ClassLink to get back into Mystery Science, the next time you'll just click on the other Mystery Science button, the one with the x-ray of the skull, and that will launch you right into the platform now that you're already registered. The other way that you can get into Mystery Science is now that you've registered is you can just start typing Mystery Science right into your address bar in your browser, and it will take you right there. That's one of the great things about Mystery Science because it's web-based. It is going to just remember that for you, and you won't have to type it in again unless you just go through ClassLink or go right in through your URL. Okay, so here we are at Mystery Science. You know we're there because we can see it at the top. I know I'm logged in because I can see my name in the top right corner. Something that's going to be helpful for you using Mystery Science is there is this help inquiry box you can use, but you can also send messages to me. Mystery Science does have great customer service, but sometimes you may get a faster answer if you email me directly. Also, we're going to be looking at this question mark and how that's helpful when you're looking at components that are the core levels, which are grade levels, standard specific. And then there are mini lessons, which are for students in K through 5. They are meant to be accessible by any student at any grade within that grade band. And also they are short, sweet, and are just designed to get kids talking and thinking about science. So let's jump in and see what those look like. So I'll click on the mini lesson tab. Mini lessons are published, a new one, every single Sunday. So once you're logged into Mystery Science, you are going to see an email come into your inbox every Sunday evening that has the newest content for your mini lesson. Mini lessons always have 3 components. There's the video, which is usually 5 to 7 minutes long. There's a series of bonuses, and there's also an opportunity to vote at the end for what the next mini lesson could be. It's a great opportunity for your students to collaborate and do some collective decision making. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the video. Also, something to note when you land in the mini lessons is that you have the opportunity to play this full screen. You have the opportunity to share this as a student link. Students never log into Mystery Science. Everything they get comes through you as their teacher. And every adult that has an @aps.edu account has access to Mystery Science. So that includes our long-term substitutes and our educational assistants. So this link is something that you could put in a newsletter if you wanted students to get to watch this at home. You could assign it through Seesaw. You could, however you find you'd like to share this as a URL, you're welcome to do that. Maybe get a kiddo caught up on some missed work. Another way you could use that share student link. We also have direct connection to Google Classroom. So once you've set up your Google Classroom, if you are an intermediate grades teacher, you can assign through Google Classroom by following the prompts. And also, each mini lesson has ways that you can stretch out that science thinking around this particular content. And there's the button here called extensions. Click on that, and it will give you some additional questions that you can pose to students and a bonus activity. A lot of these bonus activities don't require many materials, so you don't have to worry about trying to put a bunch of stuff together to have your students continue to engage in the science content found in the mini lesson. So let's take a look at what a mini lesson has to offer. It's a video that's also published to YouTube. It has closed captioning if you'd like to include that. It also has ways that you can speed up or slow down the video and change the quality. So if you're struggling with your Wi-Fi in your school, you could lower the quality, and that might help be able to play it at your school site. So every video starts with a FaceTime with Mystery Doug. He becomes a little bit of a celebrity in your classroom, so be prepared for that. But Doug is your co-teacher, and he's going to help guide you through this mini lesson. So let's take a listen.
Hi, it's Doug. I recently moved to Austin, Texas, and there's so many new things I'm looking forward to checking out. Now, I moved here during the summer when it's really hot, so one thing I'm really looking forward to is visiting a swimming hole. Texas is famous for its swimming holes. These are naturally occurring pools of water, usually connected to an underground cave system. Like, check this out. This swimming hole is called Jacob's Well. You notice how dark it looks? That's because the bottom is over 140 feet down. But I've heard that that water feels nice and cool on a hot day. Someone named Braden has a question about holes in the earth. Let's give Braden a call now.
Hi, Doug.
Hi, Braden.
I have a question for you. What is the deepest hole anyone has ever dug?
Ooh, that's a great question.
People have been digging holes for a long time, and for a lot of different reasons. Some people dig holes just for fun, like this person named Ra Paulette. He's been digging holes for over 25 years. But not just any holes. Check this out. Isn't that incredible? These holes he digs, by carving into a soft type of sandstone rock, are beautiful works of art. The amazing thing is, he digs them all by himself, with no tractors or machines to help. Some of them, like this one, are even homes you can live in, with a bathroom and kitchen. So cool. But people don't only dig holes for fun. Thousands of years ago, people dug holes to live in, like the builders of this city in Turkey. It's called Derinkuyu, and it's the deepest city in the world. It's located as deep in the ground as a 20-story skyscraper is tall. No one lives down there now, but a long time ago, it could hold 20,000 people. Now, even though Derinkuyu is pretty deep, it's not even close to being as deep as this hole. This is the deepest hole anyone has ever dug by hand without the help of any machines. It's 1,285 feet deep. That's deeper than the Empire State Building is tall. And it wasn't easy to dig. The deeper the workers dug, the darker it got. And they only had candles to light the way. But they kept digging day and night for 4 years. Until finally, they found what they were looking for. Can you guess what it was? Water. The hole is called the Woodingdean Well, and it was dug to find water to drink. See, there's actually a lot of water under the ground, 100 times more water than all the rivers and lakes put together. So where water is needed, people dig holes to try to find it. But water isn't the only thing you can find when you dig. Sometimes people also dig holes to find valuable resources, like silver or gold. That's what these miners in South Africa are looking for. The Mpuning gold mine is the deepest mine in the world. It's as deep as 10 Empire State Buildings stacked on top of each other. This hole is so deep, it takes miners over an hour on special elevators just to get to the bottom. And once they're down there, it's hot. At 140 degrees, it's hotter than the hottest day ever on Earth. That's because the deeper you dig, the hotter it gets. Before I go on, I'm curious. Besides looking for water or valuable resources like gold, what are some other reasons you think people dig holes?
So I learned some very interesting things watching that short clip. So you notice that they take the one question the student asks and then they build a lot of other content around it. That's one of the really cool things about mini lessons, super engaging too and interesting. Also in mini lessons, it's going to guide you at this point to ask your students to have a conversation. This can be a great way to build their discourse strategies and in your classroom. So as the teacher, you're thinking, okay, how do I want to pair students up? Do I want to have them talk in their table groups? What is my organizational structure going to be for these kinds of conversations? So these are great because Doug's going to let you know what question to ask, so you don't have to worry about that. You just need to think about, how do I want to organize my students and how much time do I want to give them? How do I want to ask them to share out before we move on? So what are some other reasons people dig holes? You're probably already thinking of some of those, but let's see what Doug has to say now.
Well, I'm not sure how you answered, but you may be surprised to hear that the deepest holes on Earth were dug because people were just curious. They wanted to know what they might find way, way down deep in the Earth. Like this group of scientists in Germany. They were trying to reach a mysterious layer inside the Earth called the mantle. Using special drills, these scientists were able to dig a hole that went almost 30,000 feet deep. Now, that's deeper than the world's tallest mountain, Mount Everest, is tall. It's called the KTB borehole, and it's the second deepest hole ever dug. But even though they dug pretty deep, they weren't able to reach the mantle. They did leave the hole open for people to visit, though. If you're ever in Germany, you can check it out. Okay, if you think that's deep, remember I said that was the second deepest hole ever dug. This is the Kola borehole in Russia. It is the deepest hole on Earth. Using special drills, workers dug for over 20 years. And they got pretty far, 7.5 miles down. That's deeper than 30 Empire State Buildings stacked on top of each other. But don't worry, it's only about as wide as a dinner plate, so there's no way you can fall in. So were they able to reach the mantle? Not even close. In fact, if the Earth were the size of an orange, then the Kola borehole wouldn't even go past the peel. But why is that? Are the drills we use to dig just not long enough? Even though that makes sense, making long enough drills isn't the problem. The problem is heat. See, the closer you get to the mantle, the hotter it gets. It's so hot down there that normal drills can melt like ice cream when they go that deep. And it's not just the drills that melt down there. The rocks down that deep in the Earth are so hot that they start to act almost like a thick, gooey liquid. Almost, but not quite as hot as lava. So it doesn't look like we'll be digging a hole all the way to the other side of the Earth anytime soon. Still, scientists are curious to figure out if there are new ways to dig even deeper. If this is something that interests you, maybe it's something you'll help figure out one day. But until then, it's important to know that digging deep holes on your own can be dangerous. So if you do try to dig, never dig a hole that's deeper than you are. And make sure you always have an adult nearby to supervise. That's all for this week's question. Thanks, Braden, for asking it.
Before you vote on next week's question, we put together some amazing visuals that we'd love to show you. Take a look inside, or if you don't have time, you can skip straight to voting.
So wow, I learned so much about holes, the depth of holes. That just kind of blew my mind. So that was relatively short. It's going to leave your kids feeling even more curious about things. Also, I appreciated the tie to careers at the end and the safety tip. So they're thinking of covering all their bases in this. So you can go straight to the vote, which I'll show you in a minute. But they've started adding these bonus pieces. So if you're thinking about, okay, I've got 15 minutes, you could do that video, the first section for 15 minutes with your students. Maybe on another day, you could jump into the bonus activities because they may be very curious what Doug has in store. And then on another day, you could move into the vote. So let's take a look at what bonus activity or bonus video they have for us today.
Number Number 5.
So in the bonus activity, there is no narrator. So you would need to either have your students read this or you would read it aloud to them. But what? That is pretty wild. So let's see what happens when you advance to the next frame. A little bit of a reveal there. So if we were to continue advancing through, we would move through these 5 interesting things about looks like rocks and how they get there. So that's what the bonus activity looks like. But let's now take a look at the vote. So this is important to know because your students, if they've ever done mini lessons before, are probably going to want to participate in the vote.
Now, for the next episode, I reached into our question jar and picked out 3 questions sent in to us that we're thinking about answering next. When this video is done playing, you'll get to vote on one. You can choose from: how were Lego bricks invented? How does a compass know which way is north? Or what is in food coloring? So submit your vote when the video is over. We want to hear from all of you watching. There are mysteries all around us. Stay curious and see you next week.
So with your students, great opportunity to do some consensus building, maybe some arguing from evidence or, what different ways that your class could come to a consensus around which one to select. So let's just say we engaged in some processes around that. I am very curious about what's in food coloring. So I'm going to select that one, but maybe if we were all together, we would have selected a different one. But I would go ahead and click the vote. It's logged our vote. Okay. So now every week they compile what all of the votes are, and then that is how they make their next video. It's pretty amazing that they really believe in sourcing what kids really want to learn about. The other thing that I wanted to bring to your attention is this circle with the question mark in it. Your students can also submit questions. So if you have a student who is particularly curious or a student who generates a question that the whole class is like, oh yeah, I want to know about that, you'll go to that little question mark in the circle. You can type in the question, put the student's first name, select the student's grade, and you click this button and it shoots it off to Doug and his team. And then your student's question may get selected. So that's kind of exciting because then that student would get to actually do that FaceTime video with Doug and would be on Mystery Science. Of course, you may want to make sure that your parents are okay with that or families are okay with that before you submit so that they know that their child may end up on Mystery Science. So mini lessons are published, as I said, every week, but there are also previous mini lessons that are available. So if you're studying volcanoes and you think this might be a great thing for your students to have as a supplement, go ahead and use that mini lesson too. I know a lot of teachers around the district are playing the mini lessons weekly, so it might be good to check in with your colleagues, previous year's teachers, to find out if they also use the mini lessons so we can keep the content fresh for kids. But there are a lot of mini lessons to choose from. As I said, mini lessons are great to use anytime. They add to the opportunities for children to discuss scientifically and engage in some of those community building activities that you're already doing at the start of the school year. So this concludes the navigation for mini lessons. Please look for the lesson navigation video that will help you better understand how to teach the lessons that are aligned to your grade level and your grade level standards. Again, my name is Amy Chase. Thank you for joining me today, and I'm looking forward to supporting you through your learning of mystery science.